you doing? I really want to get into this video. A lot of news out there breaking about Harley Davidson right now. But hey, before we go on, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and take it all over the place. If you'd like to donate to the cause, keep the show going, you can do so by PayPal and Patreon. I appreciate it. Now let's get into this Harley Davidson deal. Now we all know that Harley Davidson is overpriced, but now the markets are starting to, let's see, how can we put it, react to what's going on over at Harley Davidson. Now this article's out by the Motley Fool, Rich Dupree, and I really love the Motley Fool because I do a lot of investing and stuff like that. So it's a real good information platform, and Rich is a hell of a guy. Anyway, his article starts off, where is Harley Davidson going with its new accelerated growth plan? The goals are big on ideals, but short on details. Well, that's always been Harley Davidson. Throughout the years that they've been around. Now, one thing I don't know if you new cats get, or you new jacks, as I usually call people that just getting into the lifestyle and stuff. During the 1980s, Ronald Reagan had to help Harley Davidson so they didn't go under. So it's kind of, I know a lot of people are, upset about the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. They're behind Harley Davidson, some people, but you know what? Harley Davidson has made its own bed. In the 80s, I think they got a 43% tariff put on all the Japanese motorcycles and anything outside the country just so they survive. Anyway, Rich goes on, Harley Davidson, and if you guys don't know, the HOG is the New York Stock Exchange's symbol for him, has big plans, but talk is cheap. And investors undoubtedly want to see it actually sell some bikes before building on the grandiose plans it has laid out. The motorcycle maker recently said it was adding another component to its, quote, more roads to Harley Davidson roadmap for the future. Along with new products, broader access, and stronger dealers, it is now including amplify brand as a means of enhancing the Harley-Davidson experience to inspire interest in riding, foster moto-culture, and build an even bigger, more passionate community of Harley-Davidson riders. They talk about it in the rest of the article where they're planning on electric as their future. As everybody knows, Livewire came out. I think it has a range of 90 to 110. Well below the range of the Zero. Now, if you're going to go electric, I recommend Zero because they got kits that you to go 350 miles on. So why anybody would spend $30,000 on this Livewire is beyond me when you to go with Zero for half that price and more range. Now, quite frankly, I'm interested in the electric type of stuff. And I do see that as a future, but I don't think it's going to be Harley Davidson's, biggest selling point. Who knows, with the future and all these kids, the tech and all that stuff, and, maybe 20 years from now. But right now, it really needs to get where it's actually being profitable and not losing its butt as far as market share. Now, as far as market share, I always hear it, well, they're the biggest in the United States. Yeah, 50% of that is the big bike market, which the big bike market don't make up much of the market here in the United States. It's basically anything, how can I say, 1200 and cc or less is the main points. And, you got Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Triumph, all them ones under that 1200 are kicking the hell out of Harley Davidson right now in that sector. So yeah, it's true that they got 50% of the big bike market, but if you actually look at it, it ain't a big market at all. Anyway, he goes on. It's a nice sentiment, but results and not flowery language are what investors need to see. Now, when you get on to the New York Stock Exchange and your corporate stocks start getting shared, It's about the investors, man. When it was private, it wasn't. It was more, towards the people that actually ride it. But when you got investors, man, that's the way it works. Counting on electrics to save the day. Analysts are expecting a dismal third quarter. Repeat, dismal third quarter as channel checks suggest sales are down between 5 and 10%, which would be on top of a horrendous double-digit decline a year ago. Harley does have its new electric live wire motorcycle hidden showroom floors, but it's hardly a development holding back customers from buying a new bike. This isn't like someone not buying an iPhone because a new model will be soon available. And at $30,000, it's been priced out of range for many potential buyers. Excuse me. Anyway, 30,000, guys. The company has also admitted it views the pricey high-performance motorcycle as more of a halo product, bringing attention to the rest of the electric vehicle lineup to come. And it was funny, I remember reading an article from Zero Motorcycles, and they quite frankly said, yeah, we're ready to take on Harley Davidson. You know what? They don't have a good market share. They don't got knowledge on the electric motorcycle. So, yeah, bring it on. So it's like David versus Goliath right there. Even though Harley has the name recognition behind it, I don't see them breaking through in this industry because you know what? It took them so long just to get a different model lineup than they had this past 50 freaking years. Do you really expect them to actually get into the electric market? I don't think so. The investors don't think so. And by the way, I do not invest in Harley Davidson. If I were you, I would stay far away from this stock. Far away from it. Anyway, let's see here. But Harley still needs to prove it can succeed with its existing roadmap before charting new paths. Basically, don't put too much out there if you can't, bring in your big heavy hitters and make the money off of it. Because you know what? Harley Davidson, and especially the Harley dealers, are driving away the blue-collar workers it once had. People are not into you have to have a Harley to be a biker anymore. No, man, there's some nice-looking freaking Hondas out there, some Kawasaki's, Suzuki's. I really like Roadstars or the old Mean Streaks, some good stuff, or Shadows, the American style one. A lot more to choose from out there, and especially now that the attitude's changed a bunch in the biker community as far as motorcycles are concerned. They're going to have a hard time. Yeah, I got a 2002 Fat Boy, 2001, I'm sorry, Fat Boy. And that'd be the last one I ever owned, because anything else going forward, yeah, that'd be my main bike, but my backups are going to be Japs or Triumphs, or I really like the Triumphs. I actually started off on a 77 Bonneville, so. Anyway, let's see here. Where will new riders come from? It made a couple changes to its goals. Previously, it said it wanted to add 2 million new riders in the U.S. by 2027, but by the end of 2018, analysis estimated only added a net 52,000, suggesting it would only reach half of its goal by the deadline. Now, adding that many motorcycle riders is going to be next to impossible, especially again with the way people think about riding motorcycles. You got kids coming up who have no interest whatsoever. It wasn't like a lot of the old timers grew up, or I grew up, where that's what we wanted. But that was an age before digital and all this, environmental stuff that they look into. They're more into doing that kind of stuff than jumping on a bike. So I don't see where they're going to get 2 million new riders. I really don't. It now says because the number of riders entering and exiting the market was greater than it expected, its goal now is to account for all riders coming and going. Before, it was just those coming to the brand, and it wants to have 4 million Harley riders by 2027. Again, I don't even see that right there. You know what? Most of these kids nowadays, they actually go to college, trade schools and stuff. They got a lot of student loans on their freaking plates. You really think they're gonna go out there and spend 15, $20,000 on a bike when they have that kind of stuff? No. It's a different way of thinking now. Different way. Not to mention that Harley on the used market has killed itself there. Anyway, Harley hopes to have a net gain of 1 million riders with compared with 2017, and despite the slow start, it expects the gain to ramp up considering the severe lack of demand for motorcycles. Exactly how it happens is unclear. That's what I was just talking about. Looking for overseas for help. Remember how Harley Davidson used to be so proud of being made in the USA? Then its CEO came out and says, no, it's just about Harley. It was never about made in the USA. Yeah, right, okay? That was one of Harley Davidson's main selling points. And now that Indian motorcycles is being made by Polaris, they're going to have a real hard time because those Indians are looking nice. A lot of guys I know are switching to them because there was no loyalty from Harley Davidson. Anyway, Harley also changed its international sales goal from having foreign markets account for 50% of its unit volume to now accounting for half its total revenue. That's telling you something. They wanted more riders, but now they are chasing overseas because, again, guys, you guys used to say, well, you know, they own the big bike market. Well, the numbers are right here, man. Half the revenue they got to go overseas to, and that's why 1200cc or lower is popular in those countries. You're talking mostly 750s, 650s, all that type of stuff's popular. So if they had such a stronghold or a stranglehold on the U.S. market, really, they wouldn't be dependent on half of their income from overseas. Anyway, that will actually be much easier to achieve, according to them. U.S. sales are spiraling down so fast that international revenue can't help but make up 50% of the total. Ouch. Obviously, Harley hopes to reach that by growing both parts of the business. And the previous plan didn't include the new Iron E electric two-wheeler for kids or its planned e-bikes. Now, e-bikes, you know what? Harley Davidson's not going to be able to break through. And this is where I know because I got an e-bike. I got a Trek. And Trek's a good e-bike. You're looking at $1,500. And, of course, Harley Davidson will probably want $6,000 for theirs. You know, that was just a rumor between 5 and 6 on their e-bikes. Nobody's going to buy them. No way, not at that freaking price. And e-bikes, they only got about 18 when you're on full electric and about 30 when you're on assist at 20 miles an hour. And I never buy the Harley Davidson e-bike just because of the name. No, ain't happening. You know, they're really trying to get, you know, their way of trying to get new riders in is making electric little cars for kids and stuff. You might as well be a toy company at that point instead of a manufacturer. That said, it is still hoping that the market buys into Harley being a credible electric vehicle producer. I don't ever see it. What do you guys say? Next year, it will also be introducing middleweight motorcycles that will presumably be both lighter and cheaper than its lineup of heavy bikes. And eventually, it plans small bikes with engines 250 to 500, but only for the Asian market. See, there's my argument. They have to go lower because those are the markets that use it, while at the same time over here, between 750 and 1200, the Japs still have the market, you know, and their income earnings is, wow. More earnings hits to come. Harley is counting on all these changes to add $1 billion to $1.5 billion in incremental revenue, but analysts worry the $200 million to $250 million in capital spending each year through 2022, along with operational investment of $450 to $550 million, will deeply impact cash flow and earnings. Ultimately, for all the verbiage, there's nothing to prove any of this will work. A company certainly needs to plan if it wants to turn itself around, But right now, this is all supposed to gaining riders and retaining them, introducing a broad portfolio of electric two-wheelers, and spending plan that could dig a big hole in its finances mean investors should sit on the sidelines, even though Harley shares are depressed and lost 21% of their value over the last year. Don't throw a leg over the stock and write off. And that's from Rich out of the Motley Fool. Now, you'll have a lot of these hardcore guys. Oh, Harley's the best. Harley's the best. There ain't no problems. Well, those are the type of people that, they let their hearts speak instead of their brains look at what's going on within Harley Davidson. And what I mean about that is if you're not into investing and stuff, you're not going to know these type of numbers. All you're going to do is follow the sheep down the road, buy a shepherd, yelling Harley is the best. When right now, Harley, it's struggling real bad right now. And if you don't think a company like Harley Davidson can work its way into bankruptcy, you are dead wrong. It's already happened. And they had to get bailed out by AMF. And then you got a bailout from Ronald Reagan. So if you don't think Harley Davidson can go down, yeah, I feel for you. Maybe you need to get out there, get educated about what's going on. What's funny is I bought my Harley Davidson in 2001 over at Board Tracker Harley Davidson. Okay, and this just shows you what's going on with Harley. That dealership mishandled its money and stuff, millions of dollars. Next thing you know, the dealership shut down. Now, that's just one of many across the country that's been shut down and stuff because they couldn't make it. So, yeah, sales are suffering. Sales are bad. Harley's in a bad position. I don't think its electric e-bikes are going to work. I don't think its Livewire or its motorcycle line of electric bikes are going to be able to compete against Zero and the other ones out there because they got no experience. They're just thinking their name's going to make people buy it. Which they're wrong. They're banking on people to start younger kids getting into the community, which, again, they're wrong because it's a different mindset. But that's just my freaking opinion. Tell me what you think below. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, pass it around, and let's get a debate going. You hooligans, and remember, save the pink taco.